Welcome to the Holistic Hive podcast. I'm Dr. Lawrence.
I'm Dr. Christina Stitcher.
And we are so excited to bring a new guest today, Hannah Alex. She is a massage therapist we've been working with in our office for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And we've seen some amazing results with some of the work she's done. So, anything you would like to say to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I am a massage and manual therapist for orthopedic conditions. I focus on finding the root cause of dysfunction and getting people out of acute and chronic pain. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
So glad you're here. So tell us a little bit, obviously, most people know what massage therapists do, right? But what's some of your specialties and what makes you a little bit unique?
I do a different kind. So I'll kind of start how I got into what I do.
Perfect.
I have always been drawn to natural remedies, and even as a teenager I was never fond of taking Tylenol or ibuprofen. It just felt like a Band-Aid, and a Band-Aid that if used frequently enough would hurt me. So then it came time to go to college, and I didn't know what to go to college for, and I grew up giving my mom massages, and she encouraged me to go to school for that, and it felt right. I went, and then after graduating went right into the spa, and I quickly learned that that was just not for me. I wanted to do more than promote relaxation. I wanted to do more than copy and paste the fan favorite skills on one person to the next. And so then from there I sought out to go rent my own space, and I came into contact with a woman named Nikki Ray who teaches a manual therapy called the Hendrickson method, and her first class was starting in 2 days. So I just went for it, and
Awesome.
that's how we got here. And I can tell you more about the Hendrickson method.
Sure.
The Hendrickson method is a method, it's a manual therapy for, let's see. The Hendrickson method is a manual therapy specializing in the management of musculoskeletal pain and dysfunction. It was developed by a chiropractor named Tom Hendrickson. He's in Berkeley, California, and the techniques apply whether the dysfunction is acute or chronic, and whether it came about from cumulative stress, injury, or a degenerative condition. So there are three, and stop me for sure if you...
No, this is very interesting.
There are three main techniques that make up the Hendrickson method, and the first is a revolutionary new way of doing soft tissue mobilization. It's based on ocean waves, and so they're small scooping strokes done across the muscle fibers, and it's done 60 cycles per minute, which is the rate of ocean waves. It's the resting heart rate, and so it's this moving meditation for the client, and it gets them out of fight or flight and into the rest and digest parasympathetic, and it's really where you want your client to be for healing, and it's awesome. So the second main part of the Hendrickson method is muscle energy techniques, and that is a manual therapy that uses the active participation of the client. So injury and chronic pain in the joints generate neurological reflexes which tighten or weaken specific muscles around the joint that's the issue. And by having clients actively resist gentle, strategic applications of pressure, these muscle energy techniques provide a re-education of the nervous system and muscle memory so that that muscle fires properly. And then the third and last really big part of the Hendrickson method is joint mobilization. And that's really what it sounds like, joint mobilization, which helps the synovial fluid lubricate the joint. Acute chronics often result in swelling and loss of range of motion and the inhibition of proper muscle function, and chronic problems, whether from a degenerative or dysfunction, are almost always the result of misaligned and restricted joints, which prevent normal movement. And so the Hendrickson method uses joint mobilization to restore normal joint function through that natural lubrication and range of motion and normal biomechanics. So that is the Hendrickson method. That's a lot to describe, but it's amazing. It's so gentle, painless for the client, and it's the most effective modality I've ever used for people.
So when someone's going through, like, you're doing 50-minute sessions, right?
I
Or do you like to do longer?
60, 90, and 2 hour.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So when you go through it, do you go through like step 1 and then into stage 2 and stage 3 within the protocol, or how does that work? Like if someone's coming in saying, hey, this sounds interesting, we've obviously seen really cool results already, which is awesome to see that. And what would you say for a client that goes, okay, what do I expect? Like I'm used to a normal massage, spa massage, tell me what to expect.
So this is done fully clothed. Which makes it very easy. I can work so much more of the hip and the pelvis than I could if you have to be draped and everything. So it's fully clothed, and there are 2 levels of this. There's level 1 strokes, which are broad, less specific, so you take the client through level 1 strokes first, getting their body prepared, and then you take them through level 2, which we are working on nerves and tendons and very specific things. And so it's relaxing, and I don't want the muscle energy techniques of inactive participation to scare them. It's still relaxing, but they are involved, but that's what brings all the results. So
when I look at something that you mentioned, because I'm going to let you go there, because I love that this was brought up. I didn't know this was created by a chiropractor, and I'm thrilled because we talk about nervous system, we talk about the integration of brain and body and how everything's controlled via the nervous system. But when there's injury, when there's chronic stress, like you said, that there's patterning that happens in the joints, and so the whole mindset is to come in and help rewire systems. But the question I want to ask is, why start in a parasympathetic state? Why does it matter? Because I know people are hearing fight or flight, sympathetic, parasympathetic, but I don't think everyone always understands it and why it matters for healing. How would you like to describe that?
That's a really good question. Our body, when you're in the fight or flight mode, you are not going to be focused on how you can heal. You are in panic mode. And that's another big issue of why I have an issue with causing pain on people. A lot of people want me to cause pain. And you just can't heal pain by putting more pain on the pain. And because that just sends pain signals to the brain and doesn't allow them to get into the rest and digest. But why? Why the parasympathetic rest and digest? It's the mode that your body can go internal and focus on healing. And that's why it's so important for the client to be relaxed, and why we get them in this moving cycle to promote that. Just because healing just can't happen when you're stressed.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you, and I love the fact that it starts out with saying, okay, let's acknowledge the fact that people are in fight or flight. And I like to even say this, like, no, there's times of fight or flight that's good for us. Like our nervous system needs to be able to adapt to its environment.
Yes.
So we want to have fight or flight. We want to be able to react.
Yes.
But we also need times of rest, digest, heal, repair. And what we're seeing in our society right now, of course, is everyone's just skewed to fight or flight.
Yes.
But I love, like, beyond this, and I love all types of massage. But I totally agree. It's like when you can get the body and say, okay, let's start right here. The first goal we have is to calm the system down, put it into a healing frequency and waves, literally frequency to activate healing. The whole body's going to, and now I look at it going, you just set it up to actually heal and go, okay, now I'm ready to take the healing as far as I possibly can.
Yes. Yeah.
And as you were describing that difference between fight or flight and rest and digest, the visual that came to me was very much when you're in fight or flight, like you're circling the wagons and everyone's looking out at the threats and these incoming things.
Yes.
Right? And no one's really paying attention to what the inside
of
the wagon circle.
Yep.
Whereas when you're rest and digest, now we're turning, we're facing each other, so there's a connection, there's communication there,
Yes.
And we're really taking care of, obviously, the group in my visual, but ourselves, right? And I think certainly healing can go so much further. I love the whole, what you were mentioning about pain as well. It's like pain is a protective mechanism. Pain is a fight or flight mechanism, right? And so it makes total sense. If you're really trying to stimulate health and healing and well-being, pain really doesn't have much place for it.
Right.
And in fact, we know pain changes so much with how the brain works and how the nervous system works, along with all the other systems of the body.
Yeah.
And so I love how we're not putting pain on top of pain to try to get someplace that pain doesn't have a place.
Yeah. So. The phrase "no pain, no gain" does not apply to everything.
Right.
For sure. And a big part is psychological pain. I have seen several people move or not move in a certain way because of a past injury and because they have emotionally held on to the trauma and believe that they have to move that way when really they have full range of motion physically. And to that, I want to say it's time to break up with your identity of being a victim of injury and pain, because I believe you won't move forward until you do. Pain is...
I have to go there because I love what you just said. Because you look at so many people will say, well, ever since this happened to me. And you're exactly right. That's the whole new identity that they've now taken and go, you don't have to carry that.
Yeah.
I love that. You can break up with that and say, like, it's okay to, and for a while it served you. I think that's the other part is say, thank you, you served me where I needed to. And maybe I didn't have range of motion back then and I could feel that, but now I held it.
Yeah.
And it's no longer serving me.
Yeah. You have to stop claiming it. You have to stop identifying yourself with it. I've had 3 concussions, and for a long time I held on to those injuries because it gave me an excuse of why I'm not speaking as well, remembering, or thinking as clearly and quickly as I believe that I should. And this language definitely held me back from healing, and I wasn't letting myself move forward, and I continued to speak very negatively about myself, which made me fall deep into a dark psychological, mental space. And so the brain is very powerful, and if you tell it you're sick enough, your body, mind, and spirit are going to start living like it. So it will listen to the thoughts that you tell it to believe. And so now I try to say I'm on a healing journey for concussions. But my mind is strong and powerful, and it's allowed me to do so many incredible things. So whether you're experiencing a shoulder injury or pelvic floor dysfunction, I would really encourage someone to speak truth and positivity into their mind. I'm healing, I'm being renewed day by day. and I'm strong and mighty and meant for greatness. And this, what we speak to ourselves, is really powerful. So, yeah.
So I was actually taking a training for chiropractic this past weekend, and in that training we talked a little bit of what's going on here.
Yeah.
Essentially what it was a stress comes in to the body. Maybe it's a mental emotional stress, maybe it's a physical stress, it doesn't really matter, but it's overwhelming to the body. And so what the body does is it goes protect mode, right? It takes that stress, it doesn't know what to do with it, so it just stores it. And oftentimes it's the soft tissues, it's the muscles, it's the musculoskeletal system even, that it's storing it, which is great and wonderful. Like it's such an intelligent reaction to just kind of put it on the back burner because we can't deal with it right now.
Yep.
The hope is, of course, we eventually get to a place where we can deal with it, where it's not so overwhelming.
Yeah. Yep.
I guess my question to you is, have you seen that happen, and more importantly, have you seen it reverse as you've been releasing some of the tension or whatever's going on in the client? Have you seen that psychological come out and really open up?
Yeah. So I've had a client with and correct me if I'm not on your track, but I've had a client with a full hip replacement, and she couldn't, it was 3 years after, she couldn't do anything really. She couldn't garden, she couldn't ride her bike, she couldn't run or walk, and things that she really used to do. And with working on her, she was completely dependent on ibuprofen and every day. And with working on her and the muscle energy techniques, showing her that she is getting this strength back, she is strong, and having her, I really love to take assessment pictures, so I'll take before and after photos, and this is really for the client, for their psychological mentality of I am improving. And so I saw a huge shift when she her gait was just so much straighter, and I was able to show her that, and she got emotional, just like, I am getting better. So I don't know if I answered your question. But I have seen a huge shift when people start believing it. So
Awesome.
yeah.
I think it's one that we talk about, like emotions, like the book Emotions Buried Alive Never Die, and we look at different parts. They can go into organs and go into tissue, and so I have a feeling that you probably, as you work with patients, especially or with clients, especially long-term issues, you probably have some good emotional stuff that happens on the table and through their processing. And I look at that of going, I think it's also setting up that encouragement to say, hey, this may come up, and this is a totally safe place for this to happen in, and kind of trust your gut. Is that a good way to say that?
Yeah.
And you look at that of going, I think whenever we can say to someone, there may be emotions that come up, and let them come out, then you're going to process more fully as well.
Yeah.
Now, within this protocol, is there a protocol within it? Is it like, so if you sit down with somebody, you do a pre-assessment, like kind of take me through could someone expect that way of saying? Obviously, I don't assume it's a one and done. I know much better than how the nervous system works. Then it's a pill that you get temporary relief, and then you wonder why it didn't work long term. And so many people, and I'm going to call out people on this one. So many times people will say, well, I tried massage, I tried chiropractic, I tried acupuncture, and it didn't work. And my answer is, well, how did you try it? Did you try it like a pill? You tried it one time hoping for miraculous healing? And the answer is, permanent healing takes time. It's slow, it's steady, it's progressive, it's unlayering, which may mean there's times that you feel more than you did at the beginning, and it's like, but you need to know it's a process through it. And so how do you help educate your clients as they start to really understand what to expect, and then time frame?
I tell them up front, it's what are your goals? What's your short-term, long-term goals? how dedicated are you to this healing? Because it takes a commitment. And for the full hip replacement gal that I have, she comes to me weekly. And now she's fully out of pain, but
Okay, hold on. That's huge. Because what you just said was she wasn't able to do anything, and now to be able to go through this and be fully out of pain, which means, to me, she's able to do things that she has literally lost that part of her life, and she's been able to reclaim her life. Like, that's beyond huge.
Yeah. So, it's huge. I do recommend 4 sessions weekly. But this work really, it works fast. Your body wants to heal, and I've found this so effective and so efficient. And so it doesn't take so long, but it does take commitment. And really it depends on the person. Some, it's that, when does that inflammation and pain cycle come back? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 1 week for you? Well, I want you to come back before you start getting in pain again, so we can continue the process of healing and not backtrack. But another thing that they can expect is a lot of work is actually done sideline, because that allows and you would know more than me on this, but the facets are in an open position, and which allows me to manipulate the muscle tissue easier than when they're on their stomach and their spinous processes are more closed. So a lot is sideline, and that allows me again to get into under the scapula and into the hip in a lot of different in different ways. So what they can expect is great results, and also effective and efficient results if they are committed to really working on it with me. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's been so great talking with you today. I actually learned more than I expected to, so this is awesome. Any closing remarks, things you want to leave the audience with?
Let's see. I would say there's so much. I think a couple things. The biggest misconception about what I do is honestly what I'm not able to do, which is because traditional massage therapy skips over joints. You go from the muscle, skip over the elbow, back onto the arm again. And so just if you are pre or post operation, if you have pelvic floor dysfunction, if you are prenatal or postpartum, this would be incredible work for you to receive. And so I just want to spread this Hendrickson method because it's really unlike other massage therapy, and I would love for really people to come before they are close to getting surgery, because there's so many times that people are told like the only thing left for you is surgery, and I just strongly beg to differ with that. There's so much progress that we can do, and it's just, I have people come in and I'm working on them, and they'll say, oh, I didn't even know I was sore there. It's like, I'm just a mirror and a guide for you to go down the path of healing, and I just want you to experience it before you lose hope. And so, yeah.
I think that's a great way to even wrap this. Of so many people have tried the traditional medical model
Yeah.
and have been failed in it, and not everyone's failed. Some people are very happy with it, and that's where they want to stay. But for the people who say this isn't enough,
Yeah.
or my only option now is surgery, it's one that we always love to say, like, you can never undo a surgery.
Yeah.
We can always do the surgery if that's truly the
Yes.
last
Yeah.
and the only thing that can be done. But I beg, and I think this is a great way to say it, is like, give your body a chance.
Yeah.
Don't lose hope. Realize that your body wants to heal.
Yes.
I love that you've said this so many
Yes.
times. It's like your body really begs to heal as long as you remove the interferences that prevent it from healing.
Yes.
And so give your body that chance, find hope, or give yourself just a tiny bit of hope to say, okay, what else can I try before I'm willing to do something that can't be undone?
Yeah.
And realize that our bodies are inherently powerful
Yes.
and capable of healing. And I think I love this message, because that's exactly what we want, is for more people to understand the power that we have.
Yes.
Not looking outside,
Yeah.
but looking within to say
Yeah.
it's here.
Yeah.
It can be done.
Yeah. Yeah. The body's an incredible design, and it has an incredible ability to heal if we allow it to. So,
Love it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
so
thank
much.
you so much.
Had a
Thank
wonderful
you.
time with you. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Last thing I
Thanks.
want to say is, how can people reach out to you?
I have an Instagram, Calibrated Wellness, and I am also calibratedwellness.com. And my email is AnnaAlexINT. So,
Awesome.
yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, we really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.